Hi there. Lots of us go through buyer's remorse when we purchase something that we find that we didn't really need. I guess I'm going through a case of seller's remorse right now because this is the first time since, let me see, the Christmas of 2005 that I do not own and use a Pentax digital SLR camera. That's right, folks. In my onward push to lower my gear count, something had to go. And it wasn't an easy choice. Pentax makes excellent cameras. It really upsets me when I see basically reviewers who really have no experience with Pentax, don't know anything about Pentax. They shoot Canon or Nikon or Sony or something like that, and they can't help but take pokes at Pentax. Let's face it, guys, it's just another camera company making just another camera. The good and the bad of it is that Pentax cameras are quite rugged. They aren't the fastest focusing around. They offer features that are not really found in many other cameras, such as Astro Tracker for tracking stars, the multi-shot mode that instead of making super high resolution pictures, makes sure that all three of the colors are associated to every single pixel. So much truer color. These are all features that Pentax has. They've had in-body stabilization since, I think, around 2008. So we are talking about a company that may be behind everybody else, but has put together sometimes a very compelling package. So, am I sad to see it go? Of course I am. So where does that leave me now? Well, with no Pentax gear, well, enough about that. I'm not here to complain about Pentax or complain for Pentax. Pentax makes good cameras. They always have. They hopefully always will. So where does that leave me now, as I said? Well, Olympus is my primary camera right now. Right now this is being filmed, as many of my others were, on an OMD EM1, the original Mark I version. I have two of those. Primarily now, I stick the 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro lens on one camera, and the old 4/3 lens, the 50 to 200 f2.8 to 3.5. Very fast lens, not a constant aperture, but close. That is on the other body, and basically that's what I use when I go out to shoot. For video, right now this has the 14 to 150 millimeter lens on it, because I find that's very flexible, lightweight, great for video, great for carrying around. So, what else? Well, I still have the Alpha 330, the old digital SLR Sony kit. I put it up for sale and there was zero interest. I mean, other than a couple of people saying, oh man, this is a great deal, but no buyers. So it's in a bag downstairs. If I want to take a kit with me on a, I'll call it a hazardous trip where I don't have to fear damage, I'll probably take that along. So what else? Well, still on Sony, I still have, of course, the new to me NEX-6 that was my son's. I'm going to keep that kit very simple. I call it sort of future-proofing. Right now, Micro Four Thirds is still a question mark. Olympus's camera division is in the process of being sold, and we're not quite sure where that will end up. So I thought, if worse comes to worse, in 5 years' time, when these cameras probably start giving me trouble, will I have another path I could follow? And this Sony gave me that path. Now, right now, there are three things. As a matter of fact, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them. Three things about this NEX-6 that I like. First of all, the position of the viewfinder. I'm so glad that I don't have to squish my very large nose into the screen anymore in order to use this. It's nice not to have to take nose prints off your screen. Also, you don't hide behind the camera as much when you're taking people pictures, which I think is a bit of a plus as well. Number 2, very compact with the 16mm lens that I purchased. I got the 16mm that everybody says is garbage. But guess what? It takes decent pictures if you're careful. In fact, one of the best pictures, probably the best sunset picture that I've taken in a very long time, was taken with that lens, and that's the picture you're seeing here. Meanwhile, even with, I have a hood, which I've put on it, and even with the hood, it's still pretty compact. And number 3, it fills a niche that is not filled with any of my other kit. I have some close focusing stuff for the Olympus, but I did not have a macro lens. And I looked at the possibility of purchasing a macro lens for Micro Four Thirds, but I always thought, well, not sure. I don't know how much use I'd get from a macro lens. I've had macro lenses in the past that pretty much sat in a camera bag. Well, this particular camera, this NEX-6, came with a 30mm f3.5 macro. So it has filled that niche. Now I have a camera lens combination for shooting macro. So, with those 3 things taken care of, this camera has proven to be a great addition. Now, for the people who have been sort of giving me a little bit of grief, and rightly so, because I keep saying that I'm minimalizing and yet I keep buying things. To them, let me say one thing. Over the past month, I have sold a Pentax K3 camera, a total of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good quality Pentax lenses, a Pentax flash, and numerous odds and ends. I have replaced them with a used Olympus flash from a friend of mine because I did not have a bounce, proper flash for the Olympus, so I did buy that. And because of the fact that I had so much fun with my fisheye lens on my Pentax, I have ordered a very inexpensive 180 Canadian dollars 7 Artisans 7.5mm f2.8 manual focus fisheye lens for the Sony. I've looked at that lens on both a crop body Sony and on the Olympus version. And I find that slightly wider view you get with the 1.5 crop factor of the APS-C was to my liking. And of course, that means that my Sony kit now has a total of 4 lenses. The kit zoom, the macro lens, the 16mm, and now the fisheye. The fisheye has been ordered. If it arrives before I finish editing this video, you will see some images from it at the end. Well, guys, I know, gear related again, but that's not all I've been doing. I haven't just been buying and selling. I have also been on a little trip, a couple of nights on the island of Grand Manan, just off the coast of New Brunswick. You'll see some images here of some of the things that go on that particular island, from harvesting seaweed to the many lighthouses and overall beauty of a place that I hadn't been to before. So, I am keeping myself fairly busy. This Saturday is the Scott Kelby photo walk. Our club has organized a group for that. We will be practicing proper social distancing and wearing masks where required because, let's face it, folks, through all this, the one thing you should always be aware of is to stay healthy and to make sure that you don't in any way cause a risk to the people around you. Remember, wearing a mask may not necessarily mean that you cannot contract the virus. However, wearing a mask if you have already contracted the virus and don't know it means you are far less likely to spread it to somebody else. Someone who, let's just say, may be a little more vulnerable. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's really just me telling you where I am right now. And as I said, bemoaning the fact that I am no longer a Pentaxian. However, I will always have a place in my heart for Pentax gear. And of course, I still have a selection of manual focus Pentax lenses and Pentax film cameras. So when I feel like shooting Pentax, it'll be full frame. And I'll have to wait to get it back. Well, folks, as I said, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe to this channel. And of course, if you think anybody's going to get anything useful from this video, even if it's nothing more than, you know, a pat on the back for owning a Pentax, then share it. Well, bye for now.